皆さんこんにちは。私は Niki です。Hello， 大家好，我是 Niki。那么今天我要来跟你们分享，就是有关于这个亚洲10大的恐怖地点，10大其中的一个恐怖地点，就是香港的达德学校。那么达德学校呢，它是在这个新界一所已经停办的小学，它是在1931年创立，然后呢1998年停办，但是那个校舍呢至今还在存留着。那么呢它闹鬼的地方呢，就是其实有很多个的说法，其中一个是这个他们有说到是说达德学校的其中一任校长呢，他曾经在校内的女厕所穿着红衣自杀，就是吊颈自杀。那么呢，因此厕所呢经常出现这个红衣女鬼。那么呢，第二样呢就是因为第二个说法呢是1899年呢这个被英国强迫，然后呢一些山村民为了抵抗这个英国军队而伤亡，然后那些尸体对那些跟那些骨都是被这个乱葬在这个山边，成为乱葬岗，所以呢就导致达德学校的附近呢就阴魂不散，频频闹鬼。好，那么呢2011年9月20日，这个香港媒体呢有报道，一群少年在达德学校探险的时候呢，其中因为有人声称见鬼或者听到奇怪的声音之后呢，过于惊慌，3名少女相继的就是晕倒，然后呢情绪失控，咬人或者是要自杀之类的。那么呢幸好那时候朋友就是合力的制止及请求警察到场帮助。那么呢所以呢过后就因为这样子的事情导致就是这个叫什么，产生幻觉精神错乱。那么这个地方呢这一间学校呢其实它在2013年呢被这个国家地理频道呢选举为亚洲10大恐怖地点之一哦。那么好，接下来呢我们就看看以下的影片啦。
I love stories like this, ghost stories.
A lot of torture places, a lot of people die there.
We heard a voice
About places we're not supposed to go. We are warned not to go. But I'm no ghost hunter. The fear, the superstition, always hides a bigger story. A true story. What really happened here? And if you knew, would you still go there? Hong Kong. This is where it began. A good number of people here believe they've had some kind of paranormal encounter. One story in particular got my attention. Ricky, school teacher by day, but wargamer by night.
I work as a high school teacher. War games taught me to manage my emotions and my temper. Whenever I faced an obstacle, at school or at work, I consider it a challenge. We usually look for old and abandoned schools or factories. That's why I organized a game in Tat School. We split into two teams, A team and B team. The enemy found me and shot me. I went to the dead zone. My friend pointed into the room and asked, "Do you see a man squatting there?" I looked closer and it seemed as if he was squatting down to pick something up. He was wearing white. So I decided to walk towards him. But when I reached the room, I found nothing. That's when we began to feel something was strange. Until now, I still can't explain what we saw.
Tat School in Pingshan Village, rated as one of Hong Kong's most haunted places. My theory is, where there's a concentration of ghost stories, there's usually a darker, true story. Something forgotten, or something someone doesn't want you to know. The city was a dizzying financial juggernaut, with 1 foot in the future and 1 foot planted in ancient traditions. A city where the dead lay right alongside the living. And according to some, the dead didn't just lie there.
Hey, nice to finally meet you.
My contact here, Tammy, a local fixer. She hooked me up with someone who could tell me about local beliefs in the spirit world.
呢張呢，不過藍色嘅，呢個鬼差嚟嘅。嗱，我就係通靈人士啦，咁我可以知道佢個先人，譬如我咁，佢就喺第3殿地獄啦、順帝王嗰度啦。通過我問
Madame Ling Jie is a believer, a ghost whisperer, who said she helped people connect with dead relatives. Apparently, she had a constant flow of customers.
咁我 feel 到，譬如喺地獄啊，我就通過我問埋請佢哋嘅先人上嚟，同佢哋嗰啲親人溝通。咁我就佢喺第3殿元龍王爺，我就呢隻手喐，呢隻手。佢喺第9殿係咪你咁樣？
Madame Ling Jie explained that belief in the afterlife is commonplace here, based on the notion that they're the souls of one's ancestors seeking peace.
好多時咧，因為嗰啲後人咧，好驚啲父母咧或者親人咧死咗打落18層地獄，所以佢哋就燒啲往生錢啊，希望即係話疏通啲鬼差，唔好要佢個親人受苦。
According to her, when a soul is lost, they bring their torment from another realm into this one.
So I'm going to the Tat School later. Are there ghosts there?
幽靈周圍都有喎，日頭夜晚都有喎。 嗰度真係好多鬼嘅。
I wasn't convinced by the ghost photos. But even though I'm not a believer, the madam did shed some light on why so many here are.
So, Uncle, I'm trying to get to the Tatak school. Have you heard of it?
哦，有聽過。啊，咁啱我喺達德嗰度咧，小學喺度讀書嘅。咁啊，而家就荒廢咗好耐，因為荒廢得太耐冇人理咧。咁啊，有啲人就話嗰度會有啲古靈精怪嘢。達德學校成條路入去嗰個叫做南北路都係一個墳場嚟噶嘛。咁有啲咧司機就唔敢入嘅，夜晚啊唔入嘅，佢哋驚嘅。咁有啲話自己都撞過，見過有啲影，有啲白衫白喺度飄啊，有啲突然間倒後鏡望到有個突然間有個影好似坐喺架車後邊，我就未試過，所以我就唔驚呢樣嘢。
唔該。
The place wasn't just closed. It looked completely abandoned, like it was left in the middle of a war zone. My question was why?
All right. This place is definitely creepy. Very, very creepy. Oh, there are dogs. Dogs do not look friendly. Oh, man.
For an abandoned school, it seems like they've gone to a lot of trouble to keep people out.
A lot of barbed wire, barking dogs. This looks like the best place to get in. So this is it. This is the Duck Duck School. This is where Ricky's story happened. And that right there, where Ricky said he had his first sighting. Let's take a look. You can see it's some sort of an auditorium. Maybe a gymnasium used way back in the day. Probably kids running around, playing games, getting beat up by bullies. Picked last for sports teams. And you see why this is a perfect place for war games. That is creepy as So, as you can tell, I'm pretty much lost all light. So I have to switch over to IR mode. This is where Ricky's story happened. In fact, right now I'm sitting inside what he called, appropriately enough, the dead zone. And they thought they saw in the corner some old man hunched over, cleaning. But when they shined their lights on him, they couldn't see anything. So they both turned to each other, and I think they thought, just our minds playing tricks on us. But all that happened right here. Oh, what the Oh my God. It looks like it's some sort of a painting of a puppet master or something. Or Steve Jobs. Let's go down and check out the other side. Well, these look like brand new textbooks. Can't quite make out these titles. Fake, hollow, completely empty. Very, very bizarre.
What kind of school contains hollow books?
Oh, whoa. These are the dark corners of the school. I don't know how you would describe this room. That is just weird. With these dimensions, metal grate windows and a metal grate door, and a concrete cot in the corner as anything other than a cell. So the real question is, why does a school need cells?
My first exploration into the infamous Duck School tossed up a red herring. Strange markings on the walls, foreign language, bizarre graffiti. It all seemed completely out of place.
Why does a school need cells?
A movie set. It turned out that after the school shut down, producers used it as a film location. That explained the prison cells. They were fake. But why had it been abandoned in the first place? Tammy tracked down someone who could explain why the school was abandoned. Turned out, the last principal still lived in the neighboring village.
How old is this guy?
Don't know. Retirement age. 唔該，有冇人啊？
Do you happen to know the principal of the Duck School? They didn't seem happy to see me. Let's go down the alley and see if there's any stores that one, because probably that's the one that he goes to.
Sure. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Uncle. We're trying to find the principal of the old Duck School. Do you know if he's around?
佢嗰度佢都係唔接受你訪問，好似佢話佢唔識嗰啲，佢唔想講嘅嗰啲話，我知道啫。佢就喺隔離屋啫嘛。
Ah, that would be why he didn't answer.
嗰次你去試揾個喺祠堂門口最整花生糖嗰個啊，嗰個發叔你有冇識嘅？識唔識嘅？
識嘅。
你問佢啦，因為佢同佢個家人嚟㗎嘛。
哦 ，OK。
We tried to find the principal of the Duck School, but we're unable to reach him. Do you know anything about him?
我細佬唔肯接受訪問啊。
He's your brother. I had no idea he was your brother. So why did the school close?
因為冇人讀啊。
Really? Just that?
全部學生啊，阿嫲去晒元朗讀，所以佢就冇人讀，咪失效咯。
Another dead end. According to Uncle Fat, the school wasn't shut down because of any mysterious or tragic circumstances. I hadn't yet found a connection between Duck School's paranormal sightings and any true, verifiable story. So I broadened my investigation. Replaying Ricky's testimony, I found another clue worth a closer look.
After a few games, it was my team's turn to hide. I decided to hide in the ladies' toilet. Then I had a feeling of something very close to me. I turned and saw nothing. I felt something wasn't right. So I decided to leave the toilet.
I wasn't thrilled about heading back inside. But Ricky's experience in a room where he had said there had been rumors of a suicide had given me sufficient reason.
Okay, so I've been avoiding it, but that right through these bushes and up these stairs is the women's bathroom. Take a look. So I'm exploring the second floor here. There's a weird smell in the air here. And it's starting to rain. I know it's just the natural acoustics of having entered a tile space, but this room sounds completely different. Like the air just closes in as soon as you enter. Oh, it's eerily quiet in here too. So this is about where Ricky would have been, crouching here in the stall in the ladies' bathroom, hiding from his friends, thinking that no one would be able to find him. And you gotta imagine yourself sitting here quietly, and then suddenly you feel someone touching you in the small of your back. This is definitely the creepiest place in this building. And I think I will leave.
The list of hauntings was mounting. There was Ricky's testimony, and then there was an incident that seemed to have physical consequences for one member of a so-called spiritual exploration team.
There's another story here on the web about a group of 12 kids who actually heard about the stories here, and they decided to sneak in, brave as they are, at nighttime. And while they were wandering, all of them swear they saw a figure of a lady in red through the windows. On the way out, one of the girls just started freaking out, acting really strange, screaming, choking herself and attacking her friends. And they had to take her away on a gurney. And later when she came to, she said that she had visions of people killing themselves, committing suicide. And it turns out that there were rumors of a teacher at this school who had killed herself in one of the bathrooms.
The place gave me the creeps. I knew it was the power of suggestion, but I could see how those derelict schoolrooms could conjure up imagined ghosts and weird sensations. The girls said they saw an apparition, a woman in red, standing next to a grave. Behind the building, believe it or not, a cemetery. Why was it there, right next to a school? I began to wonder if the lady in red had something to do with the people buried here. If a school teacher did commit suicide, was this where she was buried? Could a real tragedy have been the inspiration for this lady in red? I sent an inquiry to the Hong Kong Police Department. And then I got my answer. There was no record of a suicide at Dak Dak. That suggested that the lady in red wasn't based on a real person. It is possible she was based on a fictional one, born out of ancient Chinese myth and legend. Maybe she was more than the product of some teenage girl's imagination. Joseph Bosco, a professor of anthropology at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. His published work offers a possible explanation to the Lady in Red and Ricky's stories. But I needed more details.
The culture creates these images.
So specifically with the Tuk school, I went to go see what there was about this story involving these 12 junior high school kids. Now, a group of them went, and they went wandering around, and they swear they saw a woman dressed in red near some gravestones somewhere near the bathroom. Like, what would any of that mean to you?
That's very easily understood in the Chinese context. The women in red really represent women who are violent ghosts. They died a violent death, and they're a hungry ghost. It was not uncommon for women who were being bullied by their mother-in-law or in an untenable position would kill themselves and kind of a revenge on the family. And if they were wearing red, that would make them even an especially powerful ghost.
There is a legend that there was a teacher who, after she was raped, committed suicide in that bathroom. Now, does that lead to that conclusion? I mean, does that make sense in the cultural context?
It does, and it doesn't really have to have actually happened. That is also a way of explaining why that place seems so creepy. Those stories are not necessarily true in the sense that you can look up in the newspaper and find out that that actually happened. They can be true in the sense that that's a cultural way of explaining why those places make people feel uncomfortable. The way I see it is you've got an abandoned school with wild grass growing, with sounds of dogs and graves within sight. And then a lot of these other stories are added on because it makes sense and it fills in the story in the Chinese context. So it seems like a perfect storm, but what you really have is a perfect setting to elaborate ghost stories from.
Dr. Bosco provided a great cultural explanation of the suicide legend and the Lady in Red. And then I happened on something I wasn't expecting. I needed to know more about the graves beside Tuk school. But then, Tammy told me all the graves belonged to one ancient clan. And that's when I realized the school, the village, their history were all connected by one name. Who were these Tangs? My investigation into the Tuk school ghost stories and the nearby cemetery had led me to question the history of the village and its people. I had a hunch that all was not as it seemed in this sleepy town. The entire village was part of a clan system and still remained a stronghold of traditional ways.
Like, what is this place?
即係嗱，嗰個牌匾講咗啦，元朝末我哋已經當一品官㗎啦。一品官員嘅格局咧，佢編咗落嚟，俾佢起咁大型嘅祠堂咧，主要係村內人自己用翻嘅，同埋我嚟祭祀自己嘅祖先，同埋咧接待嘅關係，我哋27傳咯。
Are these all family members as well? Are they all Tangs?
About 1,000.
That this was clan territory put a new spin on the investigation. The Tang, one of the oldest of the 5 great clans of Hong Kong. Tang family members alive today could trace their lineage back some 900 years. Their ancestors were protective of their own, proud, autonomous, not to be pushed around. Was there a dark and hidden chapter in these people's long past? I figured one of them could answer that question. One historical monument had caught my eye. I sought out Uncle Fat again, who of course was himself a Tang.
I saw some cannons over in front. When was the last time they were fired?
又抗英 抗英咧，即係英國入嚟香港嘅時候啊，我哋嗰啲人反抗過佢，即係唔俾佢入嚟嘅。
Tell me about the British War. What British War?
呢張嘢就係嗰間祠堂咩買嘅，4冚大炮咧就送咗1冚俾網井處，呢啲400幾年前㗎啦，3月13啊。順治年間3695蚊。
Wow.
以前係防海盜。
And then you just had them, and they just came in handy for this war against the British. Do you mind if I scan this for my records? Okay. Came here to the neighborhood to find out who the Tang.
Now this was a twist. A small clan taking on the British Army in an unknown war. This was the lead I'd been hoping for. A true mystery. This village held secrets.
Interesting thing was he mentioned a war with the British.
It seemed logical that a museum documenting more than 800 years of Tang clan history would have details about a local war with the British Empire. But in every picture and every exhibit, there was no record of a conflict with the British to be found.
Hi. I'd like to ask you a question. I came here because I was trying to find information about a war that happened right here around maybe 1890s with the British.
Sorry, no information about the war.
How could there be no trace? A tiny clan war battling the British should have been front-page news. I was beginning to question, did this war actually happen? Or was this just another tall tale? I went to search the British government Hong Kong archives. If the Tang clan did fight the British, what was their motive?
Enclosure number 135, copy of proclamation. Translation: we hate the English barbarians who are about to enter our boundaries and take our land and will cause us endless evil. Day and night we fear the approaching danger. Suddenly people are dissatisfied at this and have determined to resist the barbarians.
So there was a war, a forgotten war, a direct confrontation with the British Empire, ignited, it appeared, due to British expansion. Hong Kong Island, ceded by the Chinese to the British in 1842. The Chinese had little choice, having lost the First Opium War. The first treaty really didn't affect the villagers in the new territories. But more than 50 years later, the British demanded more. The Chinese eventually signed a controversial 99-year lease, giving the British more land. The new territories were formed. It was a British expansion, right into the heart of Tang land. Even in the 19th century, taking on the British was not a good idea. A military mismatch, if there ever was one.
Okay, so this is the Museum of Coastal Defense. This, which is the torpedo room, gives you a great example of the firepower that the British had at the turn of the 19th century. Now keep in mind, this is the firepower that the Tangs were facing against their 300-year-old cannons right around the same time.
Antiquated gunpowder cannons up against the most powerful weaponry of the era. With that kind of military imbalance, there must have been casualties. I was convinced a war did happen. But why was there not so much as a historical footnote in the local Tang Museum? Was there something the villagers were trying to hide? I was meeting another Tang who claimed to have received first-hand information about the war. Tang Guangyin's father first learned of the war as a child. Intrigued, he wrote a history.
How old is this place?
It's about 180 years old.
It's about 180 years, wow.
Primary school called Tatak School.
This is the Tatak school?
Yeah.
So your great-grandfather was the founder of the Tatak school?
Yeah, one of the founder.
They were all Tangs?
Yeah.
Mi Hai?
Me.
Mei Hai?
Beautiful food to serve our guests. And here is good food, very happily to welcome the guests.
Oh, good.
The Tangs may once have repelled foreign invaders, but I was made to feel very welcome. Finally, the elder Tang arrived, and I got my chance. I asked him if he could share the details of the book he'd written.
1899年3月11日，清英即係清朝同埋英國展開了定界談判，咁我就送俾你嘛。你識睇我，你聽。
Thank you. Grandpa Tang's research provided some key information. He called it the Six-Day War. More than 2,500 people from many nearby villages took part. And it was funded primarily by the Tang clan. They were the wealthiest. They had the most to lose. And lose they did. Grandpa Tang said the British killed more than 170 men from Pingshan village alone. But something wasn't right.
Enclosure number 135, copy of proclamation. Translation: we hate the English barbarians who are about to enter our boundaries and take our land and will cause us endless evil.
The official records stated no reported casualties. Why the discrepancy between Grandpa Tang's account, 176 dead, and the official British record? Was there a cover-up?
So, how many people about took part?
呢個咧就冇一個實際嘅統計數字啦嚇，因為嗰場抗英輸即係俾英國啲軍火咧太犀利啦咁樣啊，等我哋輸咗之後咧，即係各自走難㗎啦嚇。你話幾多人啊傷啊，幾多人死亡咧？其實英國咧有好多安插。
So if so many died, where are they buried?
咁喺錦田嗰個馮吉鄉嗰頭咧，就有一個義冢啊，嗰頭咧就據聞咧就係葬咗好多就係呢啲抗英嘅烈士嘅骸骨啊，或者係佢哋嘅屍骸喺度啦。
Continued doubt about actual numbers, but possible mass gravesite, location Cam Tin.
Chinese culture calls for respect and worship of one's ancestors. This tomb was a mass grave, a way of remembering ancestors with unknown names.
So this is it? This is the mass grave that the villagers were talking about? It's a grave that doesn't have a name, doesn't have a family name. It literally is a tomb for unknown soldiers, those who died for loyalty and bravery. And if this is truly the final resting place of those Tang family clan members or whoever else joined them fighting against the British back in 1899, you gotta ask, what was it all for?
If it was a British cover-up that led the identity of these men to remain hidden, the question was why. It had been 6 days in Hong Kong. I started with a simple theory. All these ghost stories were merely a smokescreen. Behind the hauntings was a more horrifying true story. The haunted school, the rumor of a teacher committing suicide, proved to be impossible to confirm. But when I broadened my investigation into the school's village, Pingshan, I made a shocking discovery. A war had taken place here. A war between an ancient Chinese clan and the British Empire. I had one more loose end. Was this war intentionally kept a secret? And if so, why? British historian Patrick Hayes authored the only English account of the Six-Day War of 1899.
So, Dr. Hayes, I'm trying to get a sense of what happened at Pingshan in the war. I'm trying to figure out why there's a discrepancy between the British version of events and the Tang clan version of events.
The governor, Sir Henry Blake, didn't want any fighting at all. He wanted to bring the people together, not to divide them apart. But they didn't tell the villagers this. And so the villagers got very scared. They thought that there was going to be an oppressive, difficult government.
Dr. Hayes painted a revealing picture of the secret war, a war that started over a misunderstanding and was quickly shrugged off.
The governor, within a month of the end of the fighting, is, as he says, taking cigars with the leaders of the rebellion, talking to them of his wishes for the new territory and asking them what their wishes were. So the governor went out of his way to be friendly.
But it appears the British didn't just agree to forgive, they also took measures to forget.
She said he was going to pass a sponge, wipe out all reference to the war. He was never going to mention it again.
Why would the Tangs agree to that?
The villagers, when they had realized that they had a good relationship with the new administration, that the new administration was willing to forget the past, they weren't going to dwell on this war, it was clearly in the interest of the village leaders to do the same. Also, Chinese people do have a tendency not to mention disasters, not to dwell on them, to forget them as quickly as they can. And this was clearly a disaster.
So according to Dr. Hayes, both sides agreed to forget, and in doing so, suppress the story. Local village cemeteries bore out the truth. And not all of the Tang rebels remained nameless. One of their descendants agreed to talk to me.
Could you tell me about your grandfather?
即係意境我唔清楚啊，佢影咗係呢幅相，淨係呢幅布，呢幅嘢喺度㗎啦。即係我哋咩人出世嘛。
So which one is your grandfather?
啊，你可以揭佢個蓋睇睇個蓋就知啦，個蓋有名寫啊。
Okay, I'll take a look then. One of these two then?
Not this one.
23組, that should be the name here.
The name is gone. It's kind of amazing. This really does feel like unearthing something.
呢個可能咩？一個隔離啦，係咪？咁有一個嘅，我唔記得㗎，可能係嗰度。
You have a good feeling about this one?
三台係啦，呢個。
So this is the final resting place of the leader of the Tang insurgency.
So some of the Tang insurgents were remembered, but not everyone was. I knew that in Chinese beliefs, not caring for the souls of ancestors could have unpleasant consequences.
Is this a Taoist temple, Buddhist?
But Taoist temples in Chinese religion combine Taoism and Buddhism, so we usually call them folk religion because it combines all these different philosophies.
The Temple of 100 Names was no ordinary place of worship.
It's a home for people who don't have family to make offerings for them, so that they don't become hungry ghosts. It's like an old age home for the dead. Chinese have two views of ghosts. On the one hand, they sometimes are afraid of them, that they can attack them and cause them problems. But at the same time, they think of them as really pathetic, pitiable creatures. And they do this also just as a kind of charity, out of the goodness of their heart, to help these souls go into the underworld.
What are all these pictures?
So these are all the tablets of people who've died who don't have family to take care of their ancestor tablets. So each picture represents a tablet for that person. They weren't able to send the body back to their homeland, and so they keep the tablet here so that somebody will be giving them incense and offerings to keep them at peace.
This place is really then all about the importance of family and proper burial.
Yes.
The Pingshan story had so many elements: mystery, political cover-ups, ancient beliefs. The abandoned primary school had gained infamy through tall tales of hauntings and ghosts. But the real story for me, the real mystery, was a century-old war expunged from the official records. Now in the unmarked graves of those forgotten soldiers, the souls of the villagers who fought this secret war could be paid the reverence they deserved.